Yeah. Welcome everybody who've done their dishing outside looking in. My name is Bruce Degger, and we're talking about the issues that emanate from Montgomery County and beyond. How are you doing? I'm doing all right. It's Thursday. Thursday night, actually. Just finished dinner, so I'm a little bit sleepy. Traveling tomorrow, so I will not have a chance to do the program, and I decided that I do not want to go 2 weeks without you hearing my voice, the voice of reason. You need to hear what this program has to say, and you need to tell your friends and tell your neighbors. Tell your friends. So I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Mine was very good, except I got the usual ridicule and criticism for enjoying stovetop stuffing and canned cranberry. I don't understand it. I know it's simple, but this is what I grew up on. This is what I like. I don't want nuts in my stuffing. I don't want basil. I don't want any of that stuff. Just make normal stuffing and I'll eat it. I won't have to go to stovetop. But as I said before, everybody's got to complicate everything. And we got to have twigs and leaves and cranberry sauce. I don't want that. I just want what I want. I want turkey. I eat the sweet potatoes. I eat the mashed potatoes. I have the green beans with the casserole, etc. I'm all about all the other stuff. I'm all in. I am all in. But every year it's like, oh, Bruce, you like the stuffing from the box. Well, I like the stuffing from the box because I know what I'm getting. It's stuffing. Just straight up stuffing. It's not anything that you've decided to create that Martha Stewart told you to do. All right? That's why I like it. And the cranberry sauce, it's about texture. The cranberry sauce is sweet. I tried somebody else's. They had half the cranberry still in there and literally like twigs and fern and all. I was like, what is this? Enough. Just stop making fun of me for what I like. What I like. Why? And everyone's like, how do you like that? Well, that's what I grew up on, right? It's like, you remember the stories of people saying, I didn't know I was poor because everybody else in the neighborhood was poor. We didn't know any different. And that's what I like. Why do we have to rip away all my childhood stuff? Not that I want to be a kid, but why do we have to rip it away? Coming up to Christmas, we used to make Christmas ziti, right? Baked ziti. That was the thing. We're not an Italian family. We had an Italian uncle at some point, and he showed us the ziti, and we made it. My mother made it. My brother makes it. My dad, me. We love it. We love the ziti. I move and get married 20 years now. No ziti. We don't have time for that ziti. We're going to have 7 fishes. Another thing. I want some baked ziti. Come on. Hey, Ma, put some peppers on that plate. Let's go. Really, what do you think Tommy DeVito's eating? I was listening to some program the other day, and they were talking about people from New Jersey. Because, you read all this stuff about Tommy DeVito. I don't know how Italian he is, but he looks it. He's got his chain, he's got the headband, etc. Looks like Night at the Roxy. But anyway, all these people, now they play the Sopranos song when he's coming out. I watched that movie about the making of The Godfather, Joe Colombo and the Anti-Italian Defamation League. He'd be rolling over, and he's rolling over in his grave. He's not that he would be. He is rolling over in his grave right now. It was just like, we don't want the word mafia anywhere. There is no mafia, even though he was part of it, etc. and so forth. But this whole thing, they wrap themselves. And this guy on this radio program I listened to, he goes, why does everybody from New Jersey want to be Italian? And I was like, boy, you're right. They try to out-Italian each other. They have the horns, they got the rolled-up sleeves, all this kind of stuff. I don't get it. Thanksgiving week, what does it bring? It brings parent-teacher conferences. I was in for a rude awakening on mine. I get it. I understand. Got one kid who's not struggling in high school, but just not giving it his all. And makes it a little bit tough. But I'll tell you, there's no way I would be a teacher these days in high school. There is no way at all. I would love to teach history, love to teach the kids. And you have this idea that I'm going to uplift these kids and give them some feeling, some understanding, inspiration about history, what Teddy Roosevelt did, what Charlemagne did, all of these people. But there's no way. Because all you're doing right now is just competing with a cell phone. Every day we get emails. Every day we get something about, please have to remind your kids to leave their cell phones in their bags, for them not to take it out, and not to use it during the class time. I get it. I understand it. Of course. How do you start explaining something, a math problem, something complicated in algebra 2 or geometry or something to that effect, and dealing with the phone. Hey, yo, kid, you're not learning a damn thing anymore. There should be a school-wide ban on phones. This way, and I understand about the teachers, they have these cell phone pockets where they will take them away or whatever, but they don't want to get involved anymore. They don't want to get their head beaten in for taking away a cell phone from some kid who's had a bad day. There's no more line because we don't protect anybody anymore. We don't protect the teachers on this kind of stuff. So they're like, no, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to risk my life for taking away a Nintendo or a phone from somebody. Because you've seen those videos. I know you have. You're on TikTok. You're wasting your time. But I've seen them too. But there's no way I would do it, competing with the cell phone. But here's the thing that I don't understand. I just got one today that said, please talk to your kids about cell phones and wearing earbuds in class. Earbuds in class? That you can ask. That you can take away. I mean, the teacher was like, yeah, he wears his earbuds in class. He talked about my son. He wears his earbuds in class. So he's totally tuned out? I mean, you don't tell him to take them out? I mean, my son's 5'0", 100 nothing. He's like Rudy. So he's not going to create violence in the classroom. But I mean, that just tells me now you're giving up. If someone's has headphones on, then what are you doing? Might as well bring in a TV with cable and Amazon Prime or whatever. Because it's like there are certain things that can't take someone's cell phone. I get it. Because there could be a serious confrontation problem. That one I got. But when the guy's like, oh, well, he wears his headphones. And I'm like, you allow him? It was, I'm not blaming the teacher here. I guess I am. But what I'm saying, too, it's like I'm embarrassed that my son was wearing headphones in class or earbuds in class. I'm embarrassed by that. That means he's not at school. He's not at that class. And we will talk to him, and we have talked to him. And it's been confrontational at home, I'll tell you that. But that's my place. I understand it. But how does a teacher allow kids to wear earbuds in class? No freaking way. No way. Because you might as well just tell those kids, you know what? You not listening to anything I'm saying, let's just give you the 0 right now, okay? Let's make it easy. You could sit in the back of the class, I'll give you the 0 right now. Oh, but the teacher's not teaching. Well, the teacher's got to engage a little bit. You can't give up totally. You got to put 10% effort in it. And the thing about it that got me the most is we are active parents. Let us know. Send us an email. Send us the progress report. We get freaking emails from Quince Orchard High School all the time about everything, about every month that's Hispanic heritage or Native American or whatever. Great. Celebrate. Wonderful. What about the academics? That's what I want to know. Talk to me about my son and the academics. Is my son the problem? Let me know because I'll straighten it out. My wife will straighten it out. We together as the united front will straighten it out. But how dare you not say, yeah, your kid's wearing earbuds in class. I had no idea. I knew he was on the phone because that's all the kids have the damn phones. Take the freaking phones, ban them from school. Ban them from school. That's what's happening now. That's why our education system is like, because of the COVID, I get it. They're so far behind in math. They're so far behind, and I'm starting to see it. People are starting to see it. It's understood. This wasn't made up. This isn't something that everybody lost a year or two. They really did. Because you can't teach math. You can't teach certain subjects. You can't teach art over a computer. You can't. And now we let the computers go into the school because everybody's on a computer. So if the teacher's not paying attention, you're playing cookie cutter or Minecraft or whatever in class. I mean, it's like, it's a no-win. Let's get smart about these things. I don't get it. Wow. Put some rules together. And, it's not going to be easy. You know it and I know it. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be resistance and frustration and there's going to be problems. But if you want to gain power back, if you want to gain the upper hand, if you want to get on equal footing, not even the upper hand, if you want to get on equal footing, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. Just competing with the cell phone. That's why I would never want to be a teacher now. But I get the not taking the phones, but not telling kids not to have their earbuds or not telling them to take them out. That means you gave up too. That I'm just here. I'm just going to be meek and mild. And, it was a man teacher, big guy too, whatever. It's just one of those things where, okay, Bruce, I share the blame on this one. I share the blame. And I am embarrassed that my child was wearing earbuds. But you have to say something to me before the second quarter, before November 11th or 12th or the 16th or whatever, before Thanksgiving. You have to say something to me so I can go and know, because I don't know what my kids are doing at school. He was getting by. He was doing okay. And then all of a sudden he's not doing okay because I'm sure he missed 3 days when he had his earphones in watching YouTube. And that YouTube scourge. This is the whole thing. Instead of fighting stuff, we play into it. I talked about this before about ADHD. So what do? Every kid now is diagnosed with ADHD. I don't know a kid out there. I don't know a family out there that doesn't have a kid in therapy and or on ADHD medicine. I don't understand it. Because when I was a kid, none of it, and I'm not going to be like, you knew who the kids who had ADHD were. They were called space cadets. They couldn't pay attention. They were the kid in the class fidgeting or whatever. And I know a couple of them. And my wife is like, maybe they separated them out and put them on the short bus. Not a joke. I'm not joking here. Maybe they put them on the short bus, and send them to a different school. But, I don't even remember the kids in first or second grade like that. You had to have some serious mental problems not to be in the general population of school. But there was nobody at Davis School. I mean, you knew a couple kids like, oh, okay, maybe. But what did we know back then? What do we know about peanut allergies, etc.? I mean, I know these things happen. I know they're real. I'm not trying to discredit them or discount it. But what do? We play into it. And that's the thing. We play into it. We want people to be Americans, but no, not really, because we're going to put everything in a Spanish language. We're going to have Spanish language commercials. You got to learn the language. You can always be Spanish at home. You can always be Hispanic at home. You can be Greek at home. You can be Nigerian at home. I don't care. But for the people who are don't have a second language like myself, I never learned a second language based on my heritage because we're Greek and Austrian, all right? We talk about a mix. But my father, he can speak Greek, but he never spoke it in the house, and we didn't know it. My mother, I don't know if she knew German or not. We never spoke it. Everybody wanted to be an American, so it never really came to us to speak a different language or wrap ourselves in some hyphenated Italian-American, Austrian-American, Greek-American, anything. We were just Americans, I mean... But the point being here is with the ADHD, etc., you watch like Teen Titans with the kids' cartoons. You watch the kids' cartoons and they have quick flashes and cuts. There's no stories anymore. It's all vignettes, little things, 30 seconds, and then it's on to the next thing. So the kids pay attention to it because they can't pay attention anymore. So instead of trying to force kids when they're just learning how to watch TV to sit there and be bored a little bit, while trying to follow a story, no, we're just going to throw lights and cuts, quick cuts, etc. I mean, I'm surprised Sesame Street's still around, but I guess it's not because it's on HBO or whatever, because it's too slow. It's too slow to learn the letters A, B, and the count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kids can't deal with that anymore. Where's the quick cut? Let's go from 4 to 100. 4, 7, 100. The count sounds just like the lady Michael Corleone married in Italy. Sunday, Tuesday, Monday. Hey, Mikey, I know English. No, but it's we play into these things, and that's the whole thing that gets me. Instead of trying to fix it and fight it, we play into it because it's easier. It's less confrontational. And it's the easy way out. We can't take the easy way out anymore. Everything is the easy way out. I don't want to fight. I don't want to have this fight right now. Well, sometimes you're going to have the fight. And speaking of the fight, this is a total jump, but still on the same line. This is not tangential. This is on the same line. And what I'm talking about is behavior in the streets. Behavior, just criminal behavior. This whole anti-police thing that we let fester and build and build and build. Down with the police. Defund the police. No police. DAs that not prosecuting a crime. There's no coming back from this. I don't know if you see it because I see it. There's no coming back from this. Unless we get to be the militant system that everybody says we were before. That's what's going to happen. Someone's going to have to draw the hard line in the sand. And guess what? That's going to be ugly too. Stop and frisk and all of this kind of stuff. I mean, it's the perception or the concept that everybody fought against. It's going to become a reality because that's the only way we're going to get it back. Because there's no gradual to this anymore. I mean, you can't lock up ice cream in a CVS or in a store. They're locking up ice cream. They're putting up pictures of toilet paper in a CVS in downtown D.C. Do I see it? No, not really. I go to the same Target, but guess what? They're going to get rid of all the self-checkouts now, which is like a mixed bag to me because Target, the self-checkout, everybody who thought they were saving money, all these retail stores who thought they were saving money and cutting jobs, now you're getting robbed blind. And there always is going to be theft in any retail store. You get it. I understand it. But $1,000 once or twice a day being walked out the door, that's unacceptable. That's unsustainable. We want to live in a sustainable society. Guess what? That's unsustainable. There's your catchword. It's unsustainable. Crime has to be treated seriously. And there's no minor crimes, right? It's like, oh, it's a little lie. No, it's still a lie. It was a little crime. He jumped the fare. Oh, that's money out of your pocket. Oh, but don't prosecute. It's so petty. It's money out of your pocket. When do either you pay for everything or you start doing it yourself? The theory, there was always a theory, and the theory that saved New York has been smashed to bits. The broken windows theory. Saying that, if there's a house on the block and someone throws a rock through the window, and no one takes care of it or cleans it up, then the next kid's going to come along and throw another rock till you have a decrepit building. And that's what the city was built on. And that's what William Braxton, I can't even think of his name, forgive me for that. But the police chiefs of New York City, that's what they built it back on. And New York City was safe. And I'm telling you, I was there in the heyday. Disney's coming in, Red Lobster's coming in, Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. I mean, people cry for the old Times Square. The old Times Square sucked. It sucks now again, too, because now you got nasty Elmo walking around trying to take a picture with you for $2. Go away. And it's too crowded, etc. And, and you can't have car traffic, etc. So much more to say about that. But the old Times Square, I remember I was sitting with Mark Genova, a friend of mine from Wild Pitch Record days. We were down there in 1991, maybe 1990. David Dinkins is the mayor. Crime is going pretty high. And we're sitting in a barber's chair. For some reason, he took me to this place to get a haircut by the subway, underneath the ground, underground, by the subway to get a haircut in Times Square. I was like, Mark, what kind of life are you living, buddy? But he was a cool guy, so I love Mark. But anyway, we go in there. I'm in the barber's chair. You see these two guys running down the stairs. One falls down the stairs and then busts into the barber shop. And the cops are coming right behind him with their guns drawn. It's like, oh, snap. I'm going to get shot in a barber shop. And I'm like trying to rip off the thing, trying to get behind the chair. It's funny now. It was scary then. New York City, Times Square was scary. Everybody coming up to you, oh, weed. Well, I guess it's still now. Now everybody could just smoke it. They don't have to sell it. Everybody could smoke it on the street. But I'm telling you, what I'm saying here again is this anti-police movement has gone so far one way that it's going to be a lockdown, a military-style lockdown to get back to even, to get back to zero. We're in a negative situation now. And to get back to zero, we're going to have to put in police tactics that everybody doesn't like or doesn't want. Because we got rid of everything. Police can't police. They're all retiring. They're all putting in their things. And then budget cuts because immigrants coming into New York City, coming into New York City. There's no money. It's no money. It's not a humanitarian issue anymore. There's no money. So they come to New York City, and what do they got? They got nothing. Except a city that's trying to take care of them. So we're going to close up a school. We're not going to have 3 classes of police academy coming in anymore. We're going to have closed firehouses. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, it's just, you could say, Bruce, you worry about everything. You complain about everything. You're so angry. You know what? I'm not angry. That's the funny part. I'm not an angry guy. People actually think I'm a nice guy. People actually think I'm funny. I want to be in a locker room. I want to tell jokes. I want to laugh. I don't want to complain about things. It's not in my nature. Maybe it's in my nature for this radio show because this is one of the few times I get to say something about it. But I read the newspaper. Who am I talking to? And then half the people I do talk to are like on a different plane. No, you're wrong, Bruce. No, I am not wrong. I want stovetop stuffing and I want anti-crime. How you doing? So I did a major thing in my life. I dumped the Washington Post, the WAPO, the left-leaning, searching for inequity everywhere on this earth newspaper, and I got the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal so far, I was reading it bits and pieces, but you know what about the Wall Street Journal? The difference is not the slant or anything to that effect. It actually has stories that I want to read, that I find interesting. I just wanted more than searched out stories, to make a point. They're talking to me about someone, the Washington Post is finding someone in Iowa who has the same thing as someone in Texas. How do you even get these connections? How do you sit at the Washington Post desk and find some person in Iowa to back up your story about inequity? I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's not journalism. That's just like compiling. Oh, okay, here's another source that says I'm right. You're not supposed to be right. You're supposed to report the news. And that's why I went to the Wall Street Journal, because I get to read stuff that is in depth, but not overly in depth that I got to take 15 minutes to read it. It gets the stuff out with more than one paragraph. It's not USA Today either. And I'm not paid by the Wall Street Journal, but it just has articles I want to read. One of the articles I wanted to read they're talking about workers in the United States still disgruntled. All right, so I read this article, and they're talking about people who were, I quit my job during the pandemic because I wasn't being treated right, and I took another job, but the job didn't pan out to be what they said it was going to be. And now they're making me go into work 3 days a week. Or I don't like this because, it's a bit restrictive. You know what I've realized? They're talking about people, and companies to keep people are like making a lot of concessions. Again, giving till you can't give anymore. And guess what? The worker isn't satisfied. Oh, it's still not good. I only have to work 2 days and etc. But I'm still not happy being here. I understand about workplace not liking it. I understand they're bad bosses and I understand that there's friction or whatever. But the real reasons, not just the job itself, personality conflicts, etc., but not because they're not giving me coffee or they're making me go to the office. That's not a reason to hate the job. But the thing about it, it's like, I read that article about disgruntled workers, even with the benefits. Case in point here, workers just don't want to work anymore. People just don't want to work. It's that simple. You could give somebody everything, and they still will find a reason to complain about it. People don't want to work. They want to go out to the restaurants, Tuesday nights till 11, but I can't come into the office. That'll ruin my social life. And I heard the average commute in the United States is about 30 minutes to go to work. And people are complaining about it. I guess it's not in the cities. I know that for a fact. Unless you live in Manhattan or live in the boroughs and take the subway or so. It's longer if you're out in the outskirts or the suburbs. It's definitely longer in D.C. I mean, to go 15 miles could take you 45 minutes. It's just, it's mind-numbing. That's why, it's funny. It's in New York City. At least you could read the book or the newspaper on the train and get down there. I mean, that's why trains are important. The Metro North, but now that's too expensive, right? I mean, the working conditions. I can understand about work and the costs of things. That might be a real issue. That one I can get with. The commuting costs. I don't have any because I work in the house. I go into the driveway. I say, Gene, I'll see you in a little bit. Go into the garage, pull the car out of the driveway, then I pull it back into the garage, and that was my commute. I'm saying, hey, honey, I'm home. But yeah, it's just, I'm over the edge because I don't understand where we've let things go to. People following Donald Trump, I don't get that. Because there's no alternative to it either. That's the only reason why this guy has steam, is because the alternative is I told you, right? Who was prescient here? Nikki Haley, Nikki Haley, Nikki Haley. That's what I said, right? Now all of Wall Street's coming out for Nikki Haley. Jamie Dimon is coming out, the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, coming out saying for Nikki Haley. I mean, the Koch brothers coming out for Nikki Haley because they just need someone to talk sense who doesn't want to be a king. I mean, can you imagine Trump in the White House again? Unchecked power? Pardoning whoever he wants, Kanye West, Little Yachty, whoever. It would be nuts. It'd be nuts. And I'm sorry, that January 6th thing plays pretty strong in my mind. Every time I walk downtown, my son and I went downtown to D.C. We were walking at the Capitol and behind the Capitol and the Library of Congress, etc. By the way, the Library of Congress, not necessarily need to be seen. The building is pretty fantastic, but they have Thomas Jefferson's books that he sold back to the United States when the Library of Congress was burned down because it was in Congress in 1812, in the War of 1812. But they have the original books that Jefferson sold back to the U.S. That was the coolest part of it. Obviously, they're behind glass and stuff, but it's like, wow. TJ, my man. Hamilton, huh. So I was talking about the newspapers and the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal, etc. But the lack of real news in this world is astounding. It's astounding. You know, news sources now, like the New York Post and whoever, whenever they got to fill something like the Yahoo, especially the internet stuff, news sources scour online articles to find stories and publish them. But they're all sensational and they're all inane. I was reading an article the other day. The reason someone started losing weight, right? It's 4 paragraphs of, well, you know, it was clickbait. I know it was clickbait, but I was just, what the hell? Let me read this article. Someone started losing weight, and the kicker in the 4th paragraph is that they stopped eating chocolate before they went to bed. They used to gorge on chocolate before they went to bed, so now they stopped doing that and they've lost 20 pounds. You probably feel a slob, but it's like, oh, I read all of this stuff. It's like when Geraldo was finding Al Capone's safe and they opened it up. So disappointing. 4 paragraphs to realize that the person stopped eating chocolate before they go to bed. There's no magic elixir. And Schmucko read it. Never again. Never again. But the cutbacks in journalism lead to this. Let's scour Twitter and see what the idiots in the United States, or the X or whatever, let's see what the idiots in the United States have to say. Well, Ronnie from Virginia says, oh, Joey from Washington, Spokane says, it's like, do I care? Right? Write the letter to the editor. Put some work into it. Put a stamp on it, and then maybe I'll read it. But again, social media, right? I don't know if you know who Angel Reese is. She's the big star for LSU basketball, the big woman star. She's the one that was in Sports Illustrated, etc. So anyway, she's become a diva, so it seems. I don't know what's going on, but she's been benched from her college team. She's skipping games, doing all this stuff. So what does she do? She goes on TikTok, creates this like cryptic, drama-filled video, and puts it out there just to add to fuel the flames of this situation that no one really has an answer because the coach won't talk. She's not talking. You know what the problem with all of this stuff? It's not that she just took to TikTok to say something and to air grievances, which weren't really grievances because no one knows what the hell is going on and you didn't say anything, but it's that everything is so orchestrated. That's what bothers me about it. This NIL stuff with college, everything is so orchestrated. There's nothing. We all talk about organic and granular, all of these things that advertising agencies and have told us that these are power words: organic, granular, and nothing is organic or granular anymore. Nothing is authentic. Everything is orchestrated. It's a play. Everybody's a mini Coppola. A mini Francis Ford Coppola. Let me get my TikTok together and cryptic and drama. You know, enough. Got enough drama. So my genius son the other day, he's like, Dad, new coat we just bought. Dad, new coat. Where is it? I'm like, Ryan, it's in the closet. Where would the coat be? You haven't worn it yet. It's in the closet, genius. Dad. You know, I didn't know that. Well, where would it be? I don't understand. I mean, he got upset with me when I told him it was in the closet. I don't understand. The other thing, too, you want to know selfish? And it's not people's fault, but it's selfish. These car companies with these new headlights, with these like purple and blue headlights, the frosty icicle ones that get right in your eyes. I mean, it's supposed to be a safety feature for the person driving, but you're blinding everybody else on the road, and we're all crossing the line, and we're going to hit you because I can't see anymore. I don't even know where the line is. That's how ridiculous it gets. I don't know. That's it, man. That's it. That's all I got. It's a Thursday. Traveling tomorrow. Going up to New York. Oh. Going to see some friends, see my brother. Going to enjoy myself. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to relax and enjoy myself. That's what I'm going to do. I don't want to think about anything. I don't need to hear about Gaza hostage exchange anymore. Another day. Give us another day and we'll give you hostages. Anybody see anything wrong with that one either? No. Anybody see anything wrong with the protests in the street? The blatant, obvious stuff that's going on? But it's okay? No. No. We can't make the hard choices anymore, and that's the problem. Program's called Outside Looking In. My name is Bruce Negrin. I'm here pretty much every Friday, Thursday or Friday. Try to be every week. This time is every 2 weeks. Sorry about that, but you know what? Thanksgiving got in the way. I was still eating my stovetop, my man. Anyway, program's called Outside Looking In. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Have a great weekend. Yeah, if you're still listening.